Welcome to Season 4 of the Predator Podcast. Presented by Dark Knight Outdoors, our first choice for quality thermal optics. If you're a predator hunter or wanting to become one, you're in the right place. Here's your host of the Predator Podcast, Drew Schlim.
What's up, guys? Predator Podcast, Season 4. I am here with Josh Sills today from West Tennessee Predator Hunting. I've been a follower of him for a while and watched a lot of his content and puts out a bunch of good stuff. So I'm pumped that he was willing to jump on here with me and record this. So, Josh, thanks for coming on and with me today.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the invite. I watch your stuff as well. I didn't realize it was season 4 for you, but I've been following for a while, man. So happy to jump on and talk about my favorite thing, which is predator hunting.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing that we share, and that's why conversations like this become so easy. So it's something that I always look forward to is talking to somebody that's like-minded and has this bug like I do. So uh, Josh, give us a little bit of background of you, what you do, how you kind of got into filming, hunting. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, so I started predator hunting probably, I guess it's been 13, 14 years ago. I was raised rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting. My dad raised beagles, and he used to do trials for hunting beagles and trained them. My house sits on what used to be a training pen for rabbit dogs in the 90s, late 80s. So I grew up really just rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, and honestly didn't do a ton of it. I tell everybody it's a funny story. I never had my first scoped rifle until I was probably mid 20s, even early 30s. I was raised on shotgun hunting, you know.
Yeah.
So I started predator hunting probably 15 years ago. I was watching sports channel, outdoor channel, or one of those channels, and I saw, I don't know who it was, maybe Randy Anderson, one of the old school guys that we've all probably watched and before YouTube was around, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And I was watching, I thought, man, it's really cool watching these predators come running to the call. And I just bought my first rifle, and I was starting to kind of get back into the love for hunting, and I go in my dad's house, and he had a brand new predator call in a box that he had never opened up, that he had just kind of bought on a whim while he was at Bass Pro Shop one day. And
Yep.
I got to looking at the box, and I was like, hey, this is what they're doing on TV, and I thought it was really cool. So I started trying to chase predators, and I did it by myself. I had really nobody to get me out there, but I started doing it. And then years later, you fast forward to, I started self filming because I'm telling my friends these hunts and telling them about it. Like, you should have that on film. So fast forward to 2000 and I don't know, 18, 19, I started doing self filming, which got me a lot of I guess recognition with some of the top, I would say, predator channels out there, and got us noticed a little bit. But self film is really tough.
For sure.
Quality's not. There's only a few people, I think, that can really do great quality self film. I think you had a couple of the guys on there on your podcast that do it great, what I consider great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started. I started that all by myself. Just actually, the funny story really is, I started the West Tennessee predator hunting on Facebook just to get additional hunting ground. Yeah. I put an ad like, if you have predators out there, we'll come hunt them, for free. And it started getting a lot of traction. People were messaging the site. I would post pictures. They would message, and they would be, an acre here, an acre there,
Yeah.
2 hours away. And I'm just like, because we have no public ground really
Yep.
in West Tennessee. It's all, you got to find private. So I did that, and I started kind of getting to know people in the community because I'm not driving 2 hours for five
Yeah.
acres or so
Right.
I would say, well, I do know this guy that's on a group, and I would message him and I still do that to this day. I get a lot of messages about, hey, I've got coyotes, but they're 3 hours away, or 2 hours away, and I know a hunter there
Yeah.
that covers, that's their territory in the private world
Yeah.
sector,
Yeah.
and I'll send it to them. And even though we film a lot, it's it the drive just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of the short story of how we got started. Um, Over the time, I've had a lot of people join in because I don't consider myself the best predator hunter in West Tennessee or any of that. Well, there's some great hunters. I just document it a lot
Right.
better than probably they do. They don't. They're out there chasing and killing. I mean, I've got some of the best hunters that hunt with me in West Tennessee, and my goal initially was, once I started filming, was to film every predator hunter in West Tennessee because we have a ton. And of course, for us, it's day hunters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other probably better hunters than me if you go straight numbers, but we're trying to document it. We're trying to put it out
Yeah.
there for content. And 2020, we started really filming. My partner, one of my partners, Jason Hurt, he joined in. Same passion for it for me that I have, kind of a renewed passion.
Yeah.
And he and I started taking turns filming each other, and yeah, it's just continued to grow since then.
Did you start it as West Tennessee predator hunting? That's
Yeah,
been the staple ever since the start?
yeah, I did. So I started a group on Facebook because there was really no representation for West Tennessee
Yeah.
on Facebook at the time. That was sort of an active uh, predator hunting, community, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started it just straight up West Tennessee predator hunting, and it just kind of stuck from then.
Yeah. That's cool. I think it's cool that you kind of started out that way and you're still rolling on the same name. I think a lot of things, change and evolve and people change names and change groups and change, it just shows kind of cool that you guys have started it and or the way you started it is kind of the way it's rolling still. And that's cool to me.
Yeah, I think if there wasn't so much of a community behind it, we've got it's West Tennessee is more of a community for my mindset, which is,
Yeah.
I want to, if I see a father and son that's out there starting to, predator hunt, I'll reach out. Like I want to film you guys. I want to get you on. And because again, it's not about, I could I could have changed it to Sills Outdoor
Yeah.
early on and kind of went that direction because I have two sons that hunt with me. That's part of the kind of the group that
Yeah.
we're all that I tend to film throughout the season. But again, it wasn't about me. It wasn't about my sons. It was really about the West Tennessee was my goal. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a super cool and that's a rewarding more of a rewarding thing for you, I imagine. I like to think very similar. My situation is very, yes, I do all this on my own as far as a podcast and stuff goes, but I never hunt by myself. I'm
right.
always with other people, with my friends, with my dad, with somebody. And it just is a lot more fun for me that way and to share, kind of the memories and the hunt and experiences like you said, it's all fun and games when you go out there by yourself and come back and tell people the story, but when you
Hmm.
get to experience it with somebody, it just adds the next level of fun and excitement to the whole hunt.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I've got of the we've got, I don't know, 160 videos on our YouTube channel or more by now. I don't know, with shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how many we're up to, but I've got, you know, the ones that stick out of my mind. My nephew, my actually three of my nephews, my sons, you know, a ton of people's first coyote experience on film for them. I mean, not only did we get their first coyote for them, but we got to document it, and it's there. My nephews were young, and they're brothers, and when we released that video, I released them within a same 6 month period. I'm like, okay, you better, because they were YouTube kids. It's like you better get out there and promote your video because your brother's video is taking off and it's doing well. Like, can you
Yeah.
beat? And they just, especially kids in YouTube these days, it's such a big thing for them. They share it. They it's there forever.
Yep.
I'm long, I'll be long gone, and they'll still be able to show that to their kids, their first experience out there. And they're mainly duck hunters, but they have
Yeah.
those duck hunters in the off season. They love to have some exciting adrenaline rush as well. So
Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's super cool. How many guys do you have like a actual like group that you consider the West Tennessee Predator Hunters
y-
or just kind
yeah,
of
there's a core group of guys that there's about 10 or 12 of us. My two sons, my partner Jason, Tim Allman, who is probably, if you look at historically, West Tennessee probably puts out more predators than anybody. He is an absolute machine. I film him, and a lot of these guys have tried filming. Tim, we kind of became friends in the contest circle in West Tennessee, and he started filming, and he would send me some videos, and I would edit it, and which made it easy for me. This is before the TV show came out. This was
right.
just YouTube. And then we've got a guy named Matt Reynolds and Lane. They hunt together. They started filming, which again, they just shoot me the content, bring me a SD card. I get to kind of put my spin on the hunt. They do a great job putting their intros, outros. I give them the feedback of kind of
Yeah.
what we need because we're filming for two different things for us. I I don't want to do a lot of double work. I don't want to edit for TV and then edit for YouTube. I try
Yeah.
to edit for something that'll work with both scenarios. So we're talking, short hunts, try to get 2 or 3 hunts per video
Right.
and still keep it within, a under 10-minute thing because YouTube says, hey, 7 minutes, you're starting to lose your audience. So,
Right.
um, so yeah, and then we've got, my sons, Ian and Gavin, they hunt with me. They're grown and starting their family and working full time and doing other things. And so, they're we've got a couple other guys that hunt kids will hunt with us as well. So yeah, we've got a pretty good group of guys, and my goal is every season try to get them feature everybody that's kind of been with me or continuously hunt with me. Try to
Yeah.
get them on film once or twice. We generally give for the TV show, we usually have to give them 13 episodes per quarter, whichever quarter we decide to put our. They don't require me to say I'm going to be this quarter or that quarter. We just when we're ready, we say, hey, I'll be ready by this quarter, and we give them 13 episodes. So if we go 2 or 3 hunts per episode, that's how many hunts we
Right.
have to have that's good quality, worth showing, that I can try to highlight, hunting West Tennessee. So
Yeah, for sure. What is unique about hunting West Tennessee, or can you give us kind of a rundown of what West Tennessee hunting is like?
yeah, so it's funny. Um, I see a lot of guys, on Facebook and out there that kill a lot of predators in the nighttime. And I think
Yep.
what makes West Tennessee unique in the community, and not just West Tennessee. Tennessee has some of what I consider just what I'm in every group. Um,
Yeah.
Looking at what I see out there, there's a I think you had Dakota Parker
Yeah.
on your podcast, or if you hadn't, I think I watched him on your
Yeah.
podcast.
I haven't had him on my podcast yet, but he's in my Facebook group and pretty active in there.
Yeah, I mean he's a great day hunter,
Yeah.
but when you think of day hunting, because of Tennessee laws for predator hunting, everything has to be done at night. I mean, a day.
Yeah.
They just launched a couple years ago a night season, but it's shotgun only. And you know
Huh.
now the scopes and stuff will work. A lot of the new scopes, I would say, are rated to 50 BMG, so they'll work on shotguns. But I don't know if you ever shot a shotgun with a thermal or a night vision. It is
No, I
super.
don't plan to either.
It's not real comfortable, and you've got to have your scope so close to your
Yeah.
eye. They launched the season, and I was very against it. I lobbied to get um, centerfire for a night season, but there's a lot of politics behind it that
Yeah.
we could have a whole podcast on that. But they launched this night season, shotgun only, red light, thermal, whatever you want on the shotgun you can have. And
Yeah.
there was one post out of all the groups of one person killing it, and I was able to take one with a red light, and it was the difficulty was just it was crazy. So I say all that to say, not that I'm this great night hunter with a shotgun. I only did it like 2 times that night and got lucky. And if I didn't have my thermal scanner, I never would have got it.
Yeah.
I watched
Right.
I watched it come from 1,000 yards, and put it in my lap.
Yeah.
But again, it's the difficulty. Nobody. It's just if you don't have the right tools, it's going to be tough to shotgun and do it that way.
Right.
So it brings it back to the reason why West Tennessee and Tennessee in general is just such a good. It's I would say the day hunting. I mean, you've probably hunted both. I mean, day
Yep.
hunting is just a little bit more difficult in my opinion
Yep.
because you gotta be set up. You gotta be more concealed. You gotta you know you I have hunted a lot at night because we can get depredation before they launched the night hunting scene. With Tennessee, they had the depredation, not a permit, but it was understood that if you wanted them removed, you could ask somebody to come out that had the right tools and remove
Right.
the predators. They've kind of changed that up a little bit now. It's, I can't go protect deer population or turkey population because our DNR owns those things on your property is the way they look at it now.
Right.
Kind of crazy, but so day hunting, man, you have to you have to get good at day hunting if you're going to be successful in Tennessee, and I think that's what makes a lot of the hunters in Tennessee, not special, but just dedicated because it's just to me it's you're not gonna rack up the numbers on the day that you
Yep.
do at night, but seeing them roll in during the day, if you pop out a 5 morning or a 4 morning or two bobcats in the morning, those are the things that I miss filming this few
Yeah.
last weekend. Some of our guys did, or even just one, and you got that person that's never been, and you watch that predator roll in from 500 yards away.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of sets us apart in Tennessee, and really being successful in the day.
Yeah. There is nothing like a daytime call in my opinion. There's no night like I could call in a 5 pack. They could run me over at night. I'd be excited. It would be cool. But I call in a single in the daylight and I'm shaking like it was a 200-inch whitetail,
I'm
or something of that nature. And whatever gets you excited, it's something that you can't replace, in my opinion. And what's crazy to me, especially up here in Wisconsin, the upper Midwest, I think there's so many people that are getting into predator hunting nowadays that will never even know what that's like because they
right.
don't even attempt it or try it, or it's just straight thermal from the get-go. And they'll
Hmm.
never understand what that feeling is like or what things you can learn from hunting them in the daytime. But that's certainly unique. And I actually didn't know that you couldn't night hunt there, but as we started talking, I started thinking about it and I'm like, well, I guess I never have seen, you know, nighttime stuff in Tennessee. So
Very little. If you see it on my page, it's a there's a few pastures that um, we get locally that I kind of help manage predators on. So, if I get a call and, I just check my cattle and there are predators out there, that's where legally, we still have the ability to go. If we're protecting someone's dog, cows, goats, sheep, whatever they own,
Yeah.
I still have the ability to go. But most of our ground, man, is crop ground. It's not a lot. I don't have a ton of pasture ground.
Yeah.
So if occasionally I'll post a successful, spot and
Yeah.
stalk or you know, something like that. But it's pretty rare. And I mean, I enjoy it when I go out there. It's fun.
Yeah.
I still get a little. I mean, I still have that same feeling that you talked about, that shaking feeling on a night hunt, because that's still new to me,
Yeah.
right?
True.
So when
True.
I go and do that, it's like, oh man, that was wild, because they respond differently. And I get to
Yeah.
see that difference in night and day, and how I would approach that a little differently, or how I do approach it differently if I'm you know
Right.
I call it pasture patrol, out there at night or right at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
it's still, I like both, but my love for daytime, I think I can never go to, straight nighttime. So
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. It's tough to beat. And that's why I travel and go to, Kansas and Texas and all these places to like it's like I tell the guys I'm hunting with, it's like, yeah, you can hunt all night and you can do whatever, but why would we just skip the day hunting when we can't it's not that we can't day hunt here. It's just it is challenge. I mean, you're gonna call some in occasionally, but it's gonna be low success rate, um, last light, first light type situations, but yeah, you can still be successful. I did it for years. It's just you're gonna make a lot of blank stands and it is what
mhm.
it is. But when we go to those places where we have the opportunity to make those daytime stands and when they come in it's just nothing you can beat. But
Yeah.
um one thing that I was wondering is like your area, is it pretty flat, that area in Tennessee?
Yeah, so we have a mixture of ground in West Tennessee, but it's primarily flat. We do have some
Hey, most of
areas.
your videos looks fairly flat from
Yeah,
what
everybody's like, they're coming from 600 yards flat away. Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
I hear that a lot, but yeah, it's flat. There are some areas once you get into Middle Tennessee, they start to you'll start to see a lot of more hills. It's real geographically different when you get into the West Tennessee area. And I've hunted in West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee as well. And I filmed for a couple guys in Middle Tennessee, and I tell you, the walking for me up there, I'm a flatlander.
Those hills suck.
Man, it makes me realize my cardio needs to work, especially, toting all that gear, and especially if I'm a backup shooter. Used to, I would film and I would still be a backup shooter. So I would have my gun, my tripod, my camera, my tripod, and
Yeah,
all the other stuff to go with it. Well, I mean, that's a lot of gear, man. You're
that
toting
is.
30, 40 pounds worth of gear up and down those hills. And I knew quickly that I'd prefer to stay in West Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, those hills are not fun. But
Mm-mm.
yeah, I mean the state of Tennessee as a whole is pretty diverse from, you got all the way to, the Smoky Mountains to,
Hmm.
to where you're at in more of the western part of the state. But no, it's super cool and I think it's unique how much things can change just, state to state because I'm guessing everywhere around you can night hunt pretty much. So,
Yeah, I would say, I think Kentucky has a season. They're
yep,
connected to us. Missouri has a season.
yep,
Mississippi, Alabama. We have a lot of friends down in Alabama that comes up and hunts with us. Part of our thermalhunting.com and warriortripods.com. Those guys, they come up. We do a yearly hunt, and we try to set up some depredation hunts, is what we
yep,
call it. So they'll bring their thermals, and we'll get to help out the local pasture patrol for all of our farmers, and we have a great time. And they're you know they'll do some day hunting, and because I think in Alabama they have a season,
yep,
so during deer season I think they can't hunt. The same for us. Our night season goes away during deer season, even for shotgun. You
right.
can't be in the woods with shotguns. They're afraid of the poaching, I guess, aspect that
Yeah.
they could be. And I think Alabama has the same thing, but I'm not sure about Arkansas. I think there is some night hunting ability or some maybe some depredation similar to that
Yep.
that goes along with that. So yeah, I mean it's yeah, I think in a couple more years they'll bring Tennessee will add center fire. They were, I think initially it's a scary thought to have center fires firing off at night for our DNR. And
Yeah.
I think that when you look at bringing in a something like that, they're worried about, well, livestock getting shot.
Yeah.
That, we've really tried to get them to understand the technologies of thermal and just come, let's do a depredation hunt and kind of show you what it looks like from one of the newer thermals. If you're still thinking it's the old school where it just looks like a
Yeah.
blurb of hot matter, it's not that.
No.
If and a lot of the guys just don't know the technology.
Right.
So I think in a couple more years there's rumors that they'll add center fire. But and talking to some of the guys in Kentucky, they feel like it's hurt their day hunting with
Yeah.
the night seasons. So I hope it doesn't come to that in Tennessee. We had a lot of people in Tennessee that were really pushing against the night season
Yeah.
in general. My stance on it was I was told it was coming with shotgun. So we took the stance at West Tennessee Predator Hunting, which was okay. We know it's coming. Let's push for rimfire. I mean, for center fire
Yeah.
at least. Um, and try to talk to all the commissioners that we could and state representatives. And there's still talk going on behind the scenes for us to do some demos with them. We've partnered with DNT, and so we have pretty good access to thermal technology now.
Right.
So we're still talking to them about some demos to kind of educate our local DNR on really what it's all about. So
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it to say the least because my DNT scopes also do day, and
Right.
it's been a great thing for us to be able to, especially. I lose a lot of my hunters to deer season. I lose
Yeah.
a lot of my partners to crappie fishing and boating and during the
Yep.
summer. I year round hunt. Even if I'm not filming, I'm still trying my best in other ways to gather content. I don't do much self filming anymore. So adding DNT on as a sponsor helped me a lot to still gather content
Yeah.
and not have to have a partner with me. Creating
Filming through
shorts.
your scope. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a great thing, man. And there wasn't, when I came on board with DNT, they really were focused on letting people know, hey, there's a day aspect to these scopes that
Right.
there's only a few guys in the out there online that's focusing on day with a digital scope, and it
Yeah.
wasn't anybody they had on their roster, so to speak. So they asked me to come on board, and they were really focused on, they didn't even send me any thermal stuff at first. It was all really digital,
Yeah.
scopes, and I love them. I love them, and I would have missed a lot of the hunts that I've done this year because I didn't have my partners. They're out deer hunting or at the lake
Yep.
for the summer or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's a it's a great way to continue to get that footage
Right.
or that memory, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I definitely think I guess for me, what I think is strange is in the process of thermal, we've always had night hunting in Wisconsin. Thermal's always been legal to my knowledge since I've been predator hunting. So, my first experience with thermal was, probably 10 years ago ish or whatever. And I felt like at first it made the night hunting or it made the day hunting tougher. But then now it's almost like day hunting is so few and far between that day hunting has gotten better.
Yeah.
Like to the point of like if you want to catch some coyotes off guard, call them during the, in the morning or at last light or whatever, because absolutely nobody's doing that.
Hmm.
Like I know very few people. I know a few people who will make some day stands a year, like up here, but majority of people I would say don't ever even attempt a day stand, or like I'm talking don't even hunt until 10 o'clock at night. Like,
Oh, wow.
you know, um, f- and I've had some really, really good luck just going into places at dark and starting to call like right as it gets dark. Like that
Hmm.
last, as soon as it gets too dark to see, good enough to where you would need a thermal or need a light or something.
Hmm.
I've had some really good success in that too. It's just interesting to me to see how it's like almost gone in this wave of like, okay, people started to get into thermal, and then now everybody thermal hunts and nobody day hunts anymore. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I could see it. I hear a lot of guys, that I know that hunt thermal hunting. Um, it's scheduling, right? They've got their
yeah,
kids, they've got their
yep, that's
life.
true.
They can go out. I hear a lot of that, and I could get that piece of it too. I mean, if I'm doing it, just for numbers, um, and which my kids are grown. It's just my wife
Yep,
and I now. So
right,
in the house, so my schedule is it's I can go whenever I'm off work. I don't have, a ton of things to programs and things to go to. But I could see how scheduling wise for a young person with, a baby or young
yeah,
kids with 1,000 things going, that once they put those kids to bed, they could run out, make a few stands, and you
yeah, and
know,
that's a lot of it for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, a lot of guys are night owls, man. When I was in my 30s, and I mean, I didn't go to bed till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting there looking on the internet or whatever I was doing. I don't know,
Right.
watching TV, and I could, I could see spending that time out in the field if you're dedicated to, really go out there and predator
Right.
hunt. So,
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I see all sides. I see, positives and negatives to both, and um there's no right or wrong way about it. So, it just is what it is, and everybody kind of adjusts and rolls with it. And what I've seen a lot of lately too is guys have thermal or buy thermal and they just simply use it occasionally. They go out a few times a year. They just have it for leisure, for something to do in the winter,
hmm.
occasionally, but they just aren't really into it. And to me, I have no problem with that. And, the only thing that's changed big time for me is like more and more spots that I don't hunt just because there's people that are calling them every day or
Yeah.
once a week or, so on. But it's not really a bad thing. So,
Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge right now. And it's always been a challenge in West Tennessee for us, putting out content, um,
yeah, I suppose.
showing that how exciting it is. I mean, I'm getting hit with messages all the time. Hey, do you mind if I go with you? Or hey,
Yeah.
inviting me to go here, and then when you go there, it's one property over from where you're already hunting, and you're basically hunting the same predators. So, you, but I I think as well as a lot of people that are going to watch this Predator podcast. Uh, I think that the ones that stick it out, um, will continue to be predator hunters, but it's really hard for new people to have the patience, especially in day hunting in Tennessee.
For sure.
You, the dry stands will frustrate, um, every newbie, I would say, into just quitting. And I think we're in a good place now as a community with the access. If they'll, really study their craft and listen to podcasts like yours and John and them at Fox Pro, and there's a ton of other ones out there. YouTube's full of them,
Yep.
um, but there's a few good ones I think that give great advice that if they just listen,
Yep.
spend an hour. they can jump the line. I mean, I had to learn it the hard way. I mean,
I agree.
I
Totally.
had I had back in those days there was you go to get a DVD on
Yeah.
how to do it, but they
Yeah.
still didn't give you realistic expectations
Yeah. Because
of
they're
dry.
hunting in Alberta and
Yeah,
the West and
yeah, and
uh
even still, they ran dry stands. You can't
for
tell me
sure.
they didn't.
For sure
But
they did.
if they're not going to tell you, hey, we a lot of guys now will say, hey, we made 10 stands today, and five of them were dry, or
Yeah.
seven of them were dry, but on those three, we popped off three doubles, and that was a good day. Um, but you got to listen to those guys, and if you really pay attention, there's a couple guys in West Tennessee, young guys coming up. They listen. They'll go hunt with you. They'll listen. They'll take it, and then they'll go find their own property, and they'll start doing well. They get frustrated, obviously, like all of us. Like, what am I doing wrong? My partner Jason, he starts like, maybe we should try something different. I was like, look, they're just either I'm not at that. I'm at that point where I've been hunting to where if nothing comes in, I don't really question my sequence anymore. I
Yeah.
just they're not within earshot. They're not hungry. They're not mad. They're just not whatever I'm trying to trigger. They're just not that today. They're not
Yeah.
definitely looking at me from the edge of the field. The my thermal scanner during the daytime, we call it the cheat code because it stopped all that, you know, coyote in the tree line watching a scenario.
Right.
Um, so I just take the stance of if they didn't come, it wasn't because we did something wrong. They're just not within earshot. That's
Yeah.
all. I don't. I feel like this. I'm not perfect or anything like that. I just feel like we triggered the right things during the season, whatever that season may be. If they didn't come, then they weren't triggered, or they didn't feel like being triggered, or they just didn't hear it.
Right.
I just, and I'm not, I'm not cocky to say I just couldn't call them in. There's going to be educated dogs.
Yep.
We're continuously hunting the same ground. We rarely pick up new ground, but we've got a ton in West Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I'm still hunting those same ones. The one I missed last year, right there, he's in there somewhere. He knows the tricks.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it. I might be that dog I missed last year that still holding that grudge of knowing he got shot at. He's not coming. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree. What I'm seeing here in Wisconsin is the night hunting is so popular that it is honestly to a point where guys that are new to it are struggling. Like I know guys that have just got thermals this year, just whatever, and they have killed, very few. And I think it's gotten to a point where I remember, going out when thermal was first a thing, or when we used to call at night years ago, where they would, about run you over. And
hmm
I went on a stand a couple weeks ago, spot I've hunted for years, called it. Coyotes howled down in the draw right where they always have in the past, just like many times before, came out in the corner in the same spot like they had many times before, and that thing never once stopped and turned and bolted and run the other way
mm,
because I think it saw us that quick and
yeah,
just skyline or whatever it was or
right.
something. But that was one where I was like, wow, was a that was a one of the first times that's ever happened to me where one busted that bad that fast from a night hunting perspective. My experience had normally been if they get to a point where they're going to see you, normally they're going to at least stand there and look and be like, what's that?
Right.
Well, it's to a point now where they kind of know what's up. And I had to be like, man, I guess I'm going to need to really be more careful, in a lot of spots about how I'm set up and standing and a backdrop or something of that nature. But I do think it's to a point here where it's not as easy for a guy just to go out and play rabbit and have coyotes run the call over like I think we maybe had at one time,
Right.
or occasionally. I just think it's tougher and tougher, and to go out and do it successfully, it's going to certainly be a challenge for a lot of guys. So, and at that, there's not hardly any properties that don't get hunted anymore. So
Yeah. Do y'all do primarily uh public ground up there? Is it private mainly, or what's it look like for
private,
y'all? Private?
we
Yeah.
have a little bit of public around, but I mean, not hardly any, just pretty much all private land.
Yeah, and for us, on private around here, a lot of our landowners are of the mindset, the more hunters we have on the ground, the more predators that
Same here.
so they're not super loyal to you as a hunter unless you're
Yep.
producing, high numbers. So we we'll go out to a property that it's not getting hunted, for deer, for anything else. We'll see footprints or whatever, like somebody else is hunting this. And
Yep.
well, I'll ask the landowner, hey, do you have anybody else predator hunt this? Yeah. So I try to educate them, hey, listen, I know that you would think by numbers having more people helps, but it actually, doesn't help. It can educate them, make it harder for us to kill them. I'm happy to, if the other person is killing a lot, I will get out of your hair and just
Yep.
let them have at it. But
Same here.
I'll be honest with them. I'm not gonna, I won't go hunt it if they're letting other people hunt it, and that's just I'm trying to help them at the end of the day, and I don't like to, waste our time because
Exactly.
it's not just about for us. It's not just about removing a predator for these guys. It's about, you know, I have a I have sponsors that I have to get content for. I have a show that we've got to film for. So I don't need to burn dry stands and waste our
Yeah.
time out there in the morning because, with day hunting, we are limited to our stands, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've got from like right now, sun up is for us, what, 6:30,
Yep.
first light 6 something, 6:30, 6:35. So we're hunting probably until I don't know, 9 at the latest. Those
Right.
are those are our on the weekends, on Sundays we have church, so we're we're gonna get out of there maybe a little sooner so we have less light. And we may do some afternoon hunts, but again, life is still going on for a lot of people. So if I do that, I might go make a stand by myself. Uh, but once spring and summer starts rolling around, it's a little bit better. I can have a little more extended periods in the afternoon to hunt and in the morning. But yeah, I don't really, I'm not gonna, I really don't want to share ground with the mindset of, especially with new hunters. No offense to those guys, they're learning, and I was there once. I mean,
Yep.
the first year I predator hunted, I called up one predator, and I made, you know, I look at it now and go, I was really slacking that first year, but I think I made, and I was only a winter hunter back in those days because I thought that's when you could.
Yep.
That thought that was the season. I'd watched all these shows, and they're only doing it when it's cold. I
Yep.
thought that was, I probably made I don't know how many stands that first winter hunt that I did, but I caught up one dog and I sent it. I sent around at 400 yards with a 223 red dot that I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was doing, man. I,
Yep.
I I got a rifle, I got a scope, and after that year, I was like, I've got to get better, and I started really studying and bought some DVDs and listened to the things, and it's one of those things where you're going to have dry stands. I think everybody will agree to that. But I don't want to go into it knowing this is we call them gar holes down here. I don't know what y'all call them up there, but if I know it's a gar hole, I've never caught up a dog, but I have a spot or 5 other spots where I know they're high percentage spots. I'm going there first, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of our mindset when it comes to where are we going to hunt and who's on it and what's that look like for us.
Yeah. I agree. I am always asking when I get permission or when comes to hunt, I'm always asking, hey, anybody else been hunting? Anybody else hunt here? And I've, gotten to a point where sometimes, most of the time, the landowners will tell me who it is. Like, not that I'm pressing them, like, oh, who's hunting here, but like, hey,
Yeah.
they'll just say, oh, yeah, such and such hunts here. And usually I know, like, okay, I know that guy, he's pretty good, at what he does, I'll just say, hey, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
Let him hunt it, whatever. But um, or I'll hear, such and such hunts it, and I know that okay, he hunts 2 times a year, and I know that I'm just gonna hunt it as I normally would, and hope that we don't cross paths, or if it's someone that I know a little bit, maybe we can communicate at least to where I don't call it the night after him or 2 hours after him or something of that nature, just because, again, like you said, dry stands are wasting time, and I don't
Hmm.
like to waste my time either. That's why I don't hunt when it's raining and when it's,
Right.
snowing sideways and when it's blowing 40 miles an hour.
Right.
I would just prefer to be home with my family if I'm gonna waste my time. So
Right.
I can do stuff like this and, do videos and do different things at home that are more productive for me than being out there and wasting my time. So
Yeah. It's funny, because it is a West Tennessee, community. I get calls a lot from other hunters and
yeah,
say, hey, I got permission on this spot, and they said you also hunt it. Do you hunt that often? I'm like, I mean, it's in our rotation. I can't tell you the last time I hunted it. I killed on it though, and I'll shoot them a picture, of when I killed on it, and it'll tell them a date, obviously. But and the new hunters, I would say again, this is they got permission. My take on it, if you got permission, don't call me asking if it's okay. I mean, at
right,
that point, they've already given you permission. It's up to you. I can educate you as a new hunter on why I wouldn't do it, but at the end of the day, you have to make that decision on your own. Now, the more seasoned predator hunters in West Tennessee, we kind of have an unwritten rule, so to speak. Like, hey, if Jason hunts there and I get that property beside him, either I'm gonna leave it alone because he's been hunting it and we're hunting the same predators, or like you said earlier, like if I know him, hey, I got permission beside you. Have you had any luck? And he says, oh, I hear him over there on that spot all the time. Let's go over there, and then I can tag in hopefully and film those two guys
right,
getting it. And so I would say the more seasoned predator hunter has been doing it a while that knows they want to hunt if somebody else hunting it, especially if they're like you said, if they're good at it. I don't want to go behind Tim, or Jason or Matt or these guys that hunt with me or some of the other guys that are in West Tennessee that are not really part of this but are great hunters.
yeah,
If I find out they're hunting beside it, I'm just not gonna go. That's to me. I'm I'm not in my mind. It's not I'm better than them. I don't think they're calling enough. Like I know they're the same predators more than likely. And could I get lucky and catch one, passing through or call one over there? Yeah, I mean that could happen.
yep,
But it's more likely that they've killed and pressured them enough that they're what I call seasonal coyotes. You probably need to wait to that next season to come in
yeah,
that might trigger them. And that's kind of the way I look at my calling, not to segue into what
yeah,
I did, but but I have what I call seasons of calling, and I'm fortunate enough to have enough ground that I can call based on the seasons. And you know, John and Tori and those guys talk about it on their podcast a lot. But right now we're starting to roll in that breeding season mindset.
yep,
But we're still chasing cats in West Tennessee.
yeah,
So a lot of guys will start to, focus in on those breeding sounds, some howls, and really start to trigger that piece of it. We will do that as well right now for us, but we're still trying to get cats removed from properties. I've got a guy that as soon as deer season's over, he's already called me and he had his area inventoried and they found 6 bobcats on his deer property, and he
nice,
wants he wants them removed. So I'll still be in that bobcat mindset until season is over for bobcat. So for me right now, it's we're going 9 minutes, 10 minutes of prey, various preys, and I'm chasing the bobcats first, and then we'll go into that season of the coyote for me, which
yeah,
is that breeding time frame is kind of where we're in my mind we are
Yeah.
starting to chase the coyotes. So,
Right. Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. And one thing that I was going to just mention quick before we kind of talk more strategy, one thing that I learned, I feel like I kind of learned the hard way when it comes to, I used to be one of the only ones that hunted. So I used to just have all this property that was, sort of to myself. And one thing that I had to learn after, maybe this will help somebody else, but I had to start telling landowners, "Hey, I killed one at your place last night. Hey, I killed two at your place last night. Hey,
hmm
um, whatever it may be." I've had to really up my communication with landowners to let them know that I'm killing them there. Because
yeah,
what I ran into is I would have permission to hunt places. I would never tell the landowner when I was there. I would never tell them how many I killed. I would never, whatever. So then all of a sudden it turned into, oh well, he doesn't hunt very much. So uh or I don't
hmm
think he comes around very much. So yeah, you can hunt here too. So I started losing some ground that way. Just because I was, I guess, not trying to be secretive, but I guess I didn't realize that the landowner cared that much about the numbers getting killed off their place. So that's helped me keep some places to myself, is just being very communicative to the landowner about, hey, I killed five at your place last night. Hey, I killed, whatever. And that's helped me secure some places and keep some, several people from other people from calling places. So just my
yeah,
quick tip of how to kind of maintain your good spots, especially good spots. I mean, as well as I do, Josh, there's some spots that just you gotta keep them and
hmm
try to keep those people happy as best you can to stay in there, because they are just some spots that always produce and they set up nice, and they you know how it is, and I'm
yep.
sure everybody listening who has those spots has them in mind, but we got to take care of those spots.
Yeah, and I'll hit on that just a little bit more too. I think, communicating with them to let them know that you're out there at all. I think even if you don't have success, what I try to do is, hey, especially this time of year for us, because deer season is in still,
Yep.
and I want to make sure, just double check before I take off on the property, that nobody's deer hunting there. Even if they've never done it over the 15 years I've been hunting the spot, like, this could be the year. And it's happened to me several times this year. I roll up into a spot and I see a pop-up blind. And I'm like, what the? They've
Yeah.
never had a pop-up blind, and there's no deer there. I mean, there may
Yeah.
be, but it's going to be a doe. It's not going to be a big buck, right?
Yep.
But I've gotten to where I'm like, hey, is there anybody deer hunting that spot right now? No, go right ahead. Okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot. Well, if I don't kill on it, I'm still going to let them know, hey, no luck today, but I'll get after them again in a week or so, or
Yep.
a couple weeks, or whatever the case may be. Try
Yep.
it in the afternoon, like
Just so
some
they know that you're hunting it.
exactly. And I think that's, to your point about the communication piece, as if they know that you're actively out there pursuing it, it can slow them down from giving that to that next person, or they educate them on, yeah, well, Josh was just out there, you know, last week hunting, but you're welcome to go. Well, if it's an experienced predator hunter and they hear, Tim was out there, or Jason or Josh was
Yep.
out there, they're probably going to go, probably if they didn't kill one, then, I same mindset that I would go. It's like, I'm not going to go waste my
Yeah.
time right there.
Right.
So I think such a valid point. I think sometimes for predator hunters, they tend to take for granted their properties. And, we try to do, Jason is probably way better than I, my partner. He tries to, gives little gifts, to the landowners here and there. If we get some swag or a hat or something,
Yep.
take them if they want it. They may not want it, but they may see us post that we've got a hoodie or a shirt or whatever, and go try to give back to the landowners. You can't obviously afford to do it for everybody, but
Right.
some of them want it. Some of them watch your stuff, see your
Yep.
post, interact with your post. If you have those ones that are interactive, liking your stuff, those are the ones I like to really, you know, do our best to engage back with and say, hey, I appreciate you supporting us, because
Yeah.
um, maybe we're killing a lot on their property, or maybe we had a video go viral off of their property, and that leads to potential revenue to our channel, and
For sure.
that just helps us grow the channel. We put every dollar back in the channel. Nobody makes money off until you
Yep.
get into to the millions of followers. You're not really making money off this thing. It's just continuously putting that money back into the channel to try to make better content to
Yeah.
highlight the sport of predator hunting.
For sure. Yeah. No, I love that mindset. And yeah, it's certainly not a sport for anybody. I mean, even just in general, people that are trying to get into social media and hunting and filming and things these days, it is, if you're jumping into it thinking you're going to make money, best be very, very good at it
Right.
because I mean, it's tough and the social media is not friendly for hunters and,
Mm-mm.
as
We've been demonetized twice since
yep,
we've been doing this, and demonetized in the time to where we were really starting to pick up sponsors,
yep,
and starting to, you know, a lot of sponsors. For those that don't know, I mean, you get a lot of sponsors. They're gonna, you'll give them a media kit, which for those that don't know, you give them a kit that says these are our numbers.
yep,
These are our packages that we're asking for you guys to be a sponsor, and a lot of it could be gear sponsorship
yep,
equivalent of a dollar amount. So you
yep,
tend to see guys get gear, and they're going to promote that gear as part of it. Well, so that leaves you with YouTube that's potentially could give you revenue to help get new cameras and get new mics and get headsets and all these things to help grow your channel. And then we got popped with a demonetization, and about the same time as my buddy Joey Hartley from Mangy Dog TV.
yeah.
I don't know if I can't. I don't think you've had
Yep,
him on.
I had him
Okay.
on like season one, episode
Okay.
two, like long years ago, early
Yeah.
on.
So he had been demonetized about the time that I had. This has been, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
And he was appealing it, and I had just come to the conclusion, like, I'm not even going to appeal it. I'm just going to focus on my sponsors, focus on my content, and let that drive it versus worrying about YouTube giving any kind of monetization, because it wasn't a lot anyways. We didn't have a video that had gone viral at that point. It was just very, you know
yep,
content, TV show, that sort of thing. And Joey messaged me. He's like, we got demonet, or we won our appeal, and because they make you wait 90 days before you can appeal it, and you need to see significant change on your site or on your channel to get basically approved to be monetized again.
hmm,
So he gave me some pointers of what he had changed, and it was really not. I had removed a couple videos that just were probably a little, not really, in my opinion, graphic, considering what's on out there on social media,
yeah,
TikTok. But
right,
I took a few things down that were didn't need up there anymore, and changed a lot of our thumbnails to be really not not no graphic content and thumbnails. That's our kind of our what we go for now.
yep,
And then your actual description, kind of no graphic, in description, something like a headshot, or whatever the case may be. If that's in your description, it's not a matter of if you're going to get demonetized. It's just when.
when, yeah,
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that I can't believe hadn't, and again, it's random. Like, I was a small creator, and Joey and the dog, I think, Joey with the decoy dog, I think it hits a nerve with a lot of people.
yeah,
I love his stuff. And, before
yeah,
he got the decoy dog, he and I were, had very similar channels. He got the decoy dog. He just went through the roof.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, for us, making those little small adjustments helped us grow our channel. And then it just takes one video, to
yep,
go viral. And we had one, and that really kind of sparked the sponsorship conversation, where we started having people asking us to use their product. And
right,
and we didn't even know we got our first sponsor. We didn't even know what a media kit was, to be honest
yeah,
with you. We had Arc.
100%,
Yeah, we had Arc and Optics reach out. They saw, we had one video go viral, and it was a we had shot a double Bobcat daytime deal. Some
Yeah.
pretty cool footage. And I don't know what took off because that season we had two Bobcat days. And the other one did okay, but it didn't hit. I mean, it's the first video is up to 5 million something views
Yeah.
now. It's still climbing. It'll take off at random times.
Yeah.
And it's really been it was kind of what catapulted Arkansas video said, hey, we'd love to have you guys, run some of our scopes. We partnered with Arkin for about a year, and they were growing so fast, man. DNT reached out after that, and we didn't renew with Arkin. We went with DNT
Yep.
because they were kind of like us. They were a growing channel.
Yep.
And Arkin, when they came to us, they were already pretty big. They were so big that, a little creator wasn't, they wanted us to use it. They want us to tag them. They want us to do all that stuff. But we wanted to be with somebody. Our thing is this. I don't really care about how much money you're going to give me. I don't,
Yep.
I don't care if you're going to give me a bunch of gear. I want to know that you're going to support us the way we're going to support you. I'm really more about the mutual partnerships when we're looking for sponsors. And
Yeah.
if you're going to do that for us, then we're going to do our best to, obviously we have to like the gear too.
For sure.
I'm picky about who you know, I get tons of opportunities to sponsor with people, but if I don't, if it's not the gear, or if it's, I usually refer to my son, Gavin. He's the equipment guru of the family when it comes
Yep.
to cool, you know, guns. What's good, what's not, what's, you know, kind of considered in the community to be second tier, that sort of thing. I usually refer to him like, "What do you think about this? Is this good? Is this, on some stuff he's good, guns and ammo, that sort of thing, scopes and stuff. I usually know about those because I'm following them constantly.
Right. Right.
But but yeah, it's so crazy. You least expect things to pop, and then here they go.
Yeah.
They start coming to you to highlight their product.
Yeah.
So it's not overnight. I tell you, I started filming in 2017 or 18. I can't remember when I put my first video up there, and it was probably, you know, three, four, or more. I don't know. It seemed like forever. It seemed like, I was that guy just putting videos out there, and my friends were all like, "That's really cool. Like, where
Yeah.
is this? Where is this going?" Because it's a lot of work editing it. It's a lot. I mean, I know a long podcast like this, making it into an interesting podcast is probably even more challenging because it's so long. I mean, I'm dealing with short, exciting bursts. It's easier, in my opinion, to make that exciting, right? So,
Right.
anyways.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I am one that I try to always use the word partner when I talk
Hmm.
with when I am talking with companies and brands about, whether it's going to be a good fit for us. I always use the word partner just because I want partners. I don't want someone to say, "Here's some money, here's my stuff, use it, see ya."
Hmm.
I want people that I can talk to, that I can interact with, that they can say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" Or "Can I do that for you?" Or, "Can you come here and hunt with me? Can you, whatever, however, it shakes out for the relationship." But I want those relationships and partners and long-term, uh, you know, standing, friendships and things to come from
Yep.
these, and not just, "Hey, here's this, use it, see ya." Like, I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna do that. That's why
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of partners. I
Right.
just choose to keep it small and have them for the right reasons, and it just seems to be a lot more rewarding for me.
Oh yeah.
Um, and obviously, I'm in a situation where it's just me, so I don't. It's not like I need much, but
Right.
so it's easier for people just to say, "Hey, here's a something for you to use," or whatever. But I just try to make sure that I learn the people behind it, and that if I'm gonna vouch for these people, that other people are gonna feel the same way. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Hey, we've been fortunate, I would say, looking at it. I have a lot of people reach out, how did you get this sponsor? It's
Yeah.
probably the biggest question that comes, particularly on TikTok. I get a ton of,
Yeah.
and TikTok's one of those love-hate relationships because, it's kind of hit or miss at times.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful what you know,
Post. Yep.
post. I mean, I went live on the gun range one day with very little, minimal gun being in the picture. I got a 3-day ban. I mean, it's really silly,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But I still get a lot of questions like, how did you start out? How did you get sponsors? How do you do this? And I used to tell them like once we got our first sponsor and somebody mentioned Media Kit to us, we really started chasing it, and but we didn't have the data, enough data,
Right.
and I ran across some really good. um I'm a cryptic guy. I love cryptic camo. I'm a Highlander. I've always had it. My cryptic gun on the wall right there is one of my
Yep.
first Predator. That gun right there has been with me since the beginning. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
My both of my sons got their first deer with that. Um, it's really special to me. But I like cryptic camo. It's just like some people like Sika, some people like I just like the
Yep.
pattern really for me. And we reached out to the guys at Cryptic, and they are really cool. I think they sponsor Fox Pro. They have a
Yeah.
lot of good sponsors that they're partnered with, and I hit them on a day where I got like I emailed in with my media kit. I don't even know if I had my media kit, but I emailed in with just hey, here's what we're
Yep.
doing. We were launching season 1 of our TV show, or it just launched. I can't remember. And Tim over at Cryptic, he gave me some great advice. He responded. He's like, I'm not saying no. He's like, but tell me what you want, what want to, what do you expect to gain from this sponsorship, and what's your ultimate goal? Like,
Right.
it was a first sponsor that pushed back at me to say, well, what are you looking for? And I emailed him back and I said, kind of gave him my answer. And he emailed back. He said, well, what do y'all want? And I think I emailed back and just said, you know what? Give me a few years and I'll get back to you on that. Because at that moment, he
Yeah.
made me realize like I didn't really, why was I wanting a sponsor? I
Right.
I think my answer was to put back in, same thing I said earlier, like put back into the channel
Yep.
to grow with, because like you said, it's for me, it's all been for me. The couple $1,000s worth of cameras sitting over here. The
Yeah.
All of this stuff, didn't it didn't come from YouTube. That's money I had to put in it. So being able to grow that without having to, you know, put all of my money into it and tie it
Yeah.
up was kind of my goal. And to be able to continue to grow in better quality for people. I see a lot of good quality out there. I see a lot of our quality could be a lot better. I'm the hardest critic on myself. Every video
Yep.
there's something I don't like. And I'm not a great editor. I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm not the techie kid I once was probably. But that Cryptic, you know, I hope one day we'll partner with them. But they they challenged me to really rethink my strategy of
For sure.
really interacting with sponsors. And to your point, I think you said it best, which is really a partner. I'm not looking for a 2026 sponsor.
Yep.
I'm looking for a 2026 partner out there. And that's such a small part of what we do now. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I solicited a sponsor. This has been many years ago. Now it's just, renewals. We do a lot of renewals with our current sponsors, or if we're going to renew. I mean, I don't always, it's not just an automatic renewal.
Right.
But we got we got set up with Fox Pro last year, and that was
Yep.
a long time coming. And to me, it was really my biggest cost, not really mine, but our as a West Tennessee community, but it's definitely what I think if you're a predator hunter and you're doing content creation, you want to have one of the big ones. And I'd always been with Fox Pro, and I can't say enough about John Collins, in the early
Yep.
days of YouTube, he was one of the people that I watched for self filming, and
Yep.
I would take what he was doing and try to put my spin on it and make it a little bit better. And I would comment on his videos, like, what sound was that? And he was always so gracious to go, it was this sound, it was that sound. And then
Yeah.
he would message me on on Facebook and say, hey, I found you. I love your videos. And he mentioned it on a podcast. He was on a podcast one day and he was like, if you want to watch some day hunters, go watch those guys at West Tennessee Predator Hunting. It's a lot of self filming, but they're starting to film. And he's always, and honestly, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have got the Fox Pro sponsorship. He was
Yeah.
my biggest advocate, and having those guys in our corner, they've been always helpful to us when we do our yearly Predator contest. They always give back, and
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think there's a better guy that can represent the community out there than John Collins. I mean,
Yeah.
he's good as gold. And if you ever meet him in person, we get to meet him at I met him at the NWTF when the year that the X2S had dropped. The first year the X24 hadn't even dropped yet. This was maybe 2020, right before COVID hit. I met him at the Turkey convention here in
Yep.
Nashville,
Yep.
and I went up to him. I was like, "Man, I've got this X2S, but when I play cagey at a loud, it tends to gets a little scratchy. Does yours do that?" He's like, "I don't know. Let's see." And he popped that X2S on, cranked up cagey at like 34, and it didn't crackle. I was like, "Okay, must be something in my speaker." So he's just been a super supporter of us, man, and
Yeah.
can't say enough about Fox Pro having them in our corner to continue to kind of grow this thing, honestly.
Yeah. For sure. I'm in the same exact shoes as you. I just started working with them this past year too, and same thing came from just John, knowing him, and talk about salt of the earth, great people. That's what drew me to Fox Pro.
Hmm.
It wasn't the latest and greatest everything. It was the people and what I started having just through doing this podcast. I
Yeah,
reach out to Al Morris, hey, want to do a podcast? And he's like, absolutely, man, let's do it tomorrow. Like I had so many experiences with people like that, um, that are all part of this community and team, that I've just gravitated towards, that
yeah,
group of people. And, so when John reached out to me last year, like, hey, would you be interested? I was like, absolutely, I'd be interested. Like, no doubt in my mind I'd be interested, but I'm honored that you asked. But
yeah.
just the people have just been great. And yeah, like you said, can't say enough about them. It's not even about the product or the product is great. Obviously, it speaks for
Right.
itself, but just the people behind it is what makes it that next level, for me.
Yeah, John, he's so just welcoming, probably. And listen, I tapped into as many predator hunters. If in the early, I don't know, 2011,
Yeah.
2012, if I saw you're having success on one of the forums back in those days, like you probably got a message from me back in those days. I
Yeah.
mean, so, and there was a lot of people that were really standoffish, like
Yeah.
about sequences and giving up their secrets, so to speak. But John was always that guy from day one that was, and just advice about anything. Like when I was trying to grow the channel, I went to John and said, "Hey man, what advice?" He had just, I think, started working at Fox Pro full time, and I was like, look at my channel, man. You've seen it. You've seen my videos. What else can we do?" And he gave me some great advice even back in those days. And this is for people that are listening, growing their channel. He was like, "Don't look mean in all of your hairs." He said, "Be marketable." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Not every company out there wants to see people that are, mean mugging and stiff. Like we never, prior to, I don't know, whenever he gave me that vibe, we didn't smile in pictures. He's like, you're having fun. I know you're having
Yeah.
fun doing this. Like, why?" He's like, "Why do y'all never smile in pictures?" He's like, "This is the funnest sport out there."
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? He's absolutely right. Now, one of my hunting partners, Jason, he's smiling on the inside more. I still can't hardly get this guy to smile, but
Yeah.
it was just, again, great advice. He said, you never know when somebody's looking at your page. He's like, what do you want them to see you as? If they're a clothing company that wants to sponsor you, and what are they seeing? I mean, do they want a upbeat person, or they want somebody that's mean mugging the camera? And it's already a tough industry that we're in. It gets,
Yeah.
kind of a tough rap amongst the antis. So you anything you can do to lighten that mood slightly will help. And I think, I never realized that that part of it, but he that was one thing he gave me some good advice on, and more advice down the road. But I don't
Yeah.
give away all of our conversations on a podcast. But
No, I get it. I get it totally. Yeah, no, I agree. It's all good advice, and yeah, I can't say enough about him and the company itself. So, yeah, no, it's just all good stuff and good for the industry, good for us. The amount of I always am directing people to the Fox Pro podcast. Like,
mhm,
that's why I don't sit here and do December calling tips and January
right,
calling tips, and because I can't top that. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I can, go out and spit out some comparable information. Like,
right.
I would rather people just listen to their podcast, and
They,
come to
they
mine for
they
a
lay it
different
out
reason.
for you. They let you skip the line for sure on their
Exactly.
info.
Exactly. All right. As we have those of you who have been wanting to hear us talk about how to kill some coyotes or bobcats, we'll get there now. And actually, for those who have been listening all season, I did just fill my Illinois Bobcat tag last week and a half ago now. So I got that done. I'm actually video just came out of that hunt. It's at night. First time I've ever gotten to hunt bobcats at night, so that was a different experience. And if you watch the video, I apologize that I was shaking so bad, but I was nervous. The wind was blowing 25 miles an hour. I don't even know if I had my tripod locked in. I pretty much blacked out, but it was super exciting. And if you listen and watch, you can hear me take like three deep breaths throughout this cat coming in just because I was getting shook up. But
How far was
anyways,
it?
it was like 170 yards, but I could see it so long coming with the thermal. So
It's
I just
awesome.
got excited, and that's why you do it, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, I wanted to give that disclosure, and I'm going to Kansas. If you see this, this episode will be coming out. I'll be on my way to Kansas, so I'll be there. Looking forward to that. But I'm gonna ask Josh what he's gonna do here coming up and how he's gonna kill some coyotes and bobcats.
Yeah, so I kind of alluded to it earlier. For us, we don't have Bobcat tags like you talked about. We have a one per day per person right now through the 28 to the end of February. So we
Yep.
can kill one per day. If we got two people with us, we're going to pop off two if we can get them. So a lot of our calling is going to be geared towards that. And it depends. So I'm known as a loud caller. Again, you've seen our area. It's flat, and you would think, well, you shouldn't have to crank it up. Well, a lot of ours are crop ground, so it's cut up into little squares. I'm not just calling for the square I'm on. I'm calling, at the square next to me, the next 600 yards. So I call probably louder than some. I mean, I'll do whatever to get them out there. But right now, we're probably in most cases we're gonna lead off with some. I tell you, we like bird starting out. I like to lead off with some bird. If you'll watch a couple of our bobcat videos, the one that went viral first, I think we started off with some bird sounds. I think it was flycatcher, maybe Goody Woody on
Yeah.
some MFK sounds.
Goody Woody's a good one.
It
I like that
is.
one.
Yeah, flycatcher's a great one too. We've had some. Um, I caught in a double uh, bobcat for one of Jason that hunts with us. His wife was on the gun, and flycatcher had him just running crazy. But so we're gonna go with start out with some bird again, depending on the area. If I'm close to some wood lines, I may go with cagey. I've had great success with cagey cottontail on cats as well. But usually what we'll do is we're gonna run whatever sound it is, and I'm not a slow to loud volume person. I'm gonna get in there, and somebody I can't remember who told me that, but somebody told me years ago, an animal doesn't die quietly, right? So it's not gonna start low, get loud. If it's getting
Yeah.
attacked, it's gonna be loud. So that's my mindset into
Good point.
my theory. Now
Yeah.
again, so I always start off at a pretty decent pitch. Now I'm not trying to blow out the area, but I'm gonna put some volume out there when I start. I want it to sound like something's getting attacked, right? And I'm gonna play 2 or 3 minutes of each sound, working my way up. I typically will say this when I'm targeting bobcats. For me, I'm going aggressiveness, right? So a bird is not super aggressive is my mindset. And then I work my way up to more aggressive, and we might get to devil hair off of Fox Pro. It's one of
Yep.
to me one of the most aggressive sounding rabbit, you know, being hurt sounds out there. And so we're going to go 3 minutes, 3 minutes, work our way up to 8, 9 minutes of prey chasing those bobcats right now. And then if nothing comes, and you know as well as I do, for us in anyways, during that 9 minutes, if a bobcat doesn't come, it may be a fox, it may be another predator, but I'm targeting that bobcat. I'm really, otherwise I would really, this time of year, I would start to lay back into some howls and really the mindset of breeding. So for me, if nothing comes during that predator or during that prey sound, I'm gonna kick it into high gear onto some howls and start trying to trigger those coyotes to come in. And yes, I do say coyote. I know I've said it a lot, and it might be. What is it in Wisconsin? Is it coyote or coyote? What do y'all are up there?
I say coyote, I
Yeah,
think, but I think most people would say coyote.
yeah. We won't get in that debate right now, but so
Some people don't like it, but
They do. They take it offense. Ask Google.
yeah.
I'll refer to Google since everybody else does it. It says coyote, but um, we. So I'll start targeting, trying to trigger the male or the females, because if you're new to watching and you haven't seen the podcast with John and Tori, this time of year you can trigger a male, off some house. You can still trigger a female because they're both real territorial to their mate right now. So
Yeah.
if you've got that other male that's in their territory, or that other female that's in that territory, they're both can be super, if they're the alpha or the ones that are breeding, super territorial. And just that you could call in both right now of hows.
Yeah.
um so I'm going to go into some hows, go into some pairs, try to start triggering that, and then start working some of those breeding social sounds. Used to, we didn't have those,
Yeah.
and so we would go to, maybe some fights. You know, my probably my favorite fight right now is girl fight off of
Yeah.
MFK. I've had great success. That's part of the breeding package I think you can get on MFK site. But that thing has worked all year round for all different seasons of coyote for me. But that's kind of at the end of it. I'm gonna hit them with some breeding stuff, some female growls. That Humpty Bumpty. It's
Humpty
been a great,
Bumpty's a good one. Yeah.
man. It's been a great one. They've added that one to the library. Um, but yeah, I'm that type that I'm not a sit and wait kind of guy. I'm not gonna play it, let it marinate. It's a how 30 seconds. I'm scanning with my thermal during the day just to see if anything's, at the tree line, going to the next sound, checking, going to the next sound. We're staying during the day 20 minutes unless something has responded during that time.
Do
And
you
you
get
might,
much vocal response during the day down there?
man, that first light, you'll be you can get some responses.
Yeah.
We're trying to, and it depends on what's going on with me. If I'm filming, the GoPro's not great at low light, so I may not be making that very first stand. I like to be walking in at first light,
Yeah.
so we can start calling like right at when the sun's coming up, so we can have some decent light. And you got to take all the when you're filming, we have to take all those into consideration. But yeah, that first light, I can if I howl first, typically during the day, on a first stand, I can get some responses. But if I go through 9 minutes of prey, I don't know what it is that they're a little more cautious.
Yeah.
But um, once it really starts getting into breeding season, we'll start to hear some more responses. I will start going back to locating once it starts getting once deer season is over. Here we've got, I think it's the 4th of January, 5th of January for us. So we've got another week here
Yep.
left. Once that's done, I'll start locating again in the mornings. I'll get up an hour before and I'll go out and I'll locate those where they're at. And then at first light, we're going to be within 300 yards of where we got that sound. And I'll do that every morning. And our success since I started doing that years and years and years ago, that's what really took our success up to the next level for us, being a lot more consistent. I mean, we're still not killing thermal numbers, obviously
Right.
nighttime numbers,
Yeah.
but for what's considered day hunting, when I'm locating consistently and I know they're there, my success rate is just a lot higher. It's not 100%. I mean, I know they're there and I go back 30 minutes later and nothing calls in. Now, again, you got to keep in mind, like I said earlier, these are dogs that we've pressured over the years.
Right.
But, we're gonna stay 20 minutes. We're gonna go through that social sounds, howls, pair howls, start doing some, I think we used to call them, estrich, coyote estrich sounds back in the day.
Yep.
Like it
Yep.
was before they came out with the social sounds now.
Yep.
Um, but go through that whole thing and then end with fights and, we'll, I would say this time of year, we'll still kill 80% of our coyotes on prey. I mean, they'll start getting, we don't, it's 74 degrees here in Tennessee today.
Right.
So it's not real. Once it starts getting cold, January or February for us is our cold time. Once it starts getting consistently, below 30 in the 30s, they start getting hungry. They can't find the food. That's when the bobcats really are a lot more responsive. I usually kill most of my bobcats January or February just because they start to get a lot hungry. It's harder to find food.
Right.
So that'll be my my sequence, until breeding's done. That end of February, going into February,
Yep.
sort of that time frame. But
Right.
again, it's for me. I go back to this, and I just use this as the seasonality of it that I call it. So that's my prey season. Once you start getting into pup rearing and that sort of thing, you can go back to those same coyotes
Yep.
that you maybe killed prey, and if you change up your sound sequence, maybe sitting somewhere in a little different, spot, different time of day, you're calling to a different season. Their mindset's
Yep.
different. Just the way they think's different. So
Different trigger.
different triggers, man. I think that's one of the things that, listening to Tori start to really articulate. I think a lot of the successful guys were already doing it, but to him to articulate in a way that can make it make sense
Yeah.
to newer hunters, it's really, I think, probably helpful to somebody coming in. So
Yeah, I agree. Do you have a wind preference, like as far as crosswind in your face? How do you approach that?
yeah, so we're more of a wind in your face kind of person, but we will play a crosswind if we have to. If we know it's a bang up spot and we know where they're going to come from, and all I can get is a crosswind, I am not afraid. I mean, in my, I would say older years, I will, you know, kind of depending on the size of the field and where they're going to come from. If I know I can get on them before they can smell me, kind of deal, and it's a good spot, I will even try. If it's a new dog, fall season. If I'm playing dumb coyotes, the
Yep.
yearlings, the first
Yep.
year,
Yep.
I will play again, it's a special situation, but I've killed a ton of downwind dogs because they just didn't know what it was. And I've been beat a lot by that same thing. But crosswind in my face, it's kind of, I used to not hunt a spot. If it wasn't dead in my face, you couldn't get me on it. But we've slowly, try to transition into especially when you're looking for spots, man, you just got to do
Yeah.
what you got to do sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And I think, especially filming, uh, you're looking for them to be in a specific spot.
Hmm.
I know a lot of guys that, that's just how they, I think a lot of people that are deer hunters just naturally just think, oh, wind in my face. Yep. That's what I need. Well, like you're saying, I prefer a crosswind just because I think that it's more predictable for me. And I
Hmm.
think in areas like where I'm at where it's super highly pressured, I think you hunt the wind in your face, they're gonna do a granted, I'm saying typically, sometimes, always,
Yeah.
never, it's they're gonna tend to circle around you at 3, 4, or 5, 600 yards way out and around you to get to the
Hmm.
wind. I think in a crosswind situation, I can use the call at my advantage, get it upwind. I can cover the downwind. In my situation, I feel like it's more predictable,
Hmm.
my shots are more reasonable. But yeah, I know a lot of people are starting to stretch the limits of, distance and
Hmm.
shooting a long ways just for that reason. I prefer, I wish I never had to shoot over 200 yards, but unfortunately, sometimes I have to, but still, it would be nice to have them all right up in your lap.
And I think that's where day hunting probably has a little bit of advantage over night hunting. I mean, can you make a 400-yard shot at night with these thermals out there? Absolutely. You got LRFs on there, you have all that. But, you know, if you don't like with my DNT, I've got infrared on there. I
Yep.
can switch to, I, I can verify at 400 yards what that predator, what that is. It's not
Yep.
the neighbor's dog. It's not,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
But during the day, for a lot of guys, Jason and Tim and Matt, these guys are amazing shooters. They're a lot better shooters than me. Um, and they won't be scared to take a 430-yard shot, or a 500
Right.
yard shot. Whereas at night, I think a lot of people will take that shot, even though they probably are not
Shouldn't.
a
Yeah.
500-yard shooter.
Right.
So I think that's one of the day pieces of it. A lot of guys will go out and plink and shoot steel at 500, and if you're sitting there, I was looking at some videos earlier before we got on, and my buddy Jason, we had just got his scope and got his dope and got all of his, got his drop, everything set up. And we had it one hang up at about 430 yards or around 400. And I had my rangefinder and I said, it's like 399. And he knew that based on our shooting range. He dialed right up and it wasn't coming. I was doing all I could and I'm filming it. It's so far that my camcorder couldn't even pick it up really, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's blur. And I said, he's not coming. We sat there and messed with him forever. I said, what the heck? Give it a shot. It was a spot that I didn't want to mess up, but it's like, I'll come back the next season and
Right.
get them whatever that trigger season is. So he popped off, and I'm watching the GoPro footage, and he's like I got him because he could see in his scope, right? He had a
Yeah.
6 to 24 scope. He's like, I hit him. I was like, no way. And he said, oh yeah. And the next thing you know, I could hear it. I couldn't hear
Bullet plant.
no, I could hear the predator.
Oh,
I could hear the coyote crying down there and
yep.
going crazy. And I was like, you did hit it. And so, but at night, I don't think people are as quick to make that 400, 500-yard shot.
Yeah. It's
So
definitely tough. Yeah.
yeah.
What are you guys shooting for rifles, or what are your rifles of choice?
Yeah, so on the wall right there, I've got two Grendels, 6 point. They're both 6.5 Grendel. Those are kind of the shelf. They stay on the shelf more. I switched to 243 this year. Uh, Most of our guys are shooting 6 millimeter, 6 Creed or 243.
Yep.
I partnered with uh, several different manufacturers to build a custom bolt gun. I've never had a nice. I have 4 kids, man, so I was always kind of balling on
Yeah.
a budget, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that
For
gun
sure.
right there, was pieced together with to make it a decent gun along the way, but
Yeah.
it was never a great gun to begin with. So this year, I fortunate enough to partner with. Ultradyne stock, Zermatt action, Oregon Mountain Rifle Company for
Yep.
the barrel. They gave me a nice 18-inch carbon fiber barrel. Timmy triggers
Yep.
threw me a trigger there. So I built a nice custom rifle in 243. And a lot of people every person, when I went to build this, every person's like, why don't you just do a 6 Creed? I'm like, I can't, I can't run a 58 grain VMAX unless I hand load that. So that was our Tim that hunts with me. He was popping, I mean, just dropping his, like, they just don't move with that 58 grain, man. If you make good shots, where the Grendel, they're gonna, I can make a great shot, and I can. It's better than a 223, but still I've had issues with it.
Yep.
And then I partnered with a guy over in Texas, Copes Precision, to
Yep.
build a AR-10, a lightweight AR-10 243, and that thing was 7 pounds before optic,
Oof.
before suppressor. It is just a sweet shooting rifle. Got it dialed in, man. And so yeah, I think everybody that hunts with us now, we got one guy that's shooting a 22 Creed, a custom 22 Creed, a really nice 22 Creed, and he was shooting it before I ever even heard about 22 Creed. I remember he had his barrel redid by somebody. This has probably been 5 years before 22 was popular.
Yep.
It was right when Hornady came out with the 22 Creed bullet, and he went and had one made up. And we were hunting in a competition together, and he had always shot a 22 250, and I loved 22. I still think 22 250 is probably one of the premier
Yep.
Predator rifles. And I'd seen this guy do some stuff with 22 250 that just, he was a sniper, honestly, didn't miss.
Yeah.
Well, we were hunting this competition, man, and we had a good day. Of course, around in Tennessee, it's all day,
Yep.
it's all daytime predator hunts. So
Right.
you need every dog you touch, you got to have. I mean, you might have only 5, 6, 7 in the truck by the end of the day. So he brought this 22 Creed to the our competition, and I was calling, and I ran the shotgun. I was letting him, because he was the better rifleman. I was letting him use his, and he brought that 22 Creed, and I was like, "What are we doing with this new? Why are we testing the 22
Right.
Creed today?" And he made some great shots. We killed some, but I think we missed first place by one dog, and that one dog got away from that 22 Creed, and um, I still remember that. I still give him a hard time about it. It's just kind of the way we are. We have to
Yeah.
razz your friends for the misses and
Yes.
give them a hard time. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. 243. I just switched to it last year. Been a 22 250 guy my whole life, pretty much. And I switched, I've tinkered with everything 223, 22 Nosler,
mhm.
different things like that. But I switched to the 243, and that's what I enjoy the most about it is like I shoot dogs and they're just dead. Like
Right.
they just stiff, flat, nothing, no tracking, no spinning, no nothing. Like
Just
they're
down.
done. And
Yep.
that was like one of the most it's one of them things where you don't even realize it until you do it. Like,
Hmm.
and I started doing it when I switched to the 243 last year, and just been one of the better decisions I feel I've ever made. And that was 300-ish, range shots started to turn into very high confidence level. And
Hmm.
again, I used to get a lot of those like 300 yarders that it would hit and they would run off, and I have to track
Hmm.
them, or they'd spin around a couple times and run off, or tracking them, and I just got tired of it, and now that doesn't happen anymore. So
What bullet are you shooting?
I shoot 80 grain ELDVT, so
Hmm.
I'm hand loading, but
I
I'm
gotcha.
pushing it at 3,300 feet a second, and it's a big bullet moving pretty fast, and it hits hard. So
That's awesome.
yeah, no, it works out nicely. So I'm pretty tickled with it, and I just loaded up 100 some of them to hopefully get me through the winter, but we'll see. Hopefully, I actually hope it doesn't get me through the winter, but if it does, that'd be fine. Hopefully, it
I
means lots of dead dogs.
I just got my dyes and stuff for Christmas to start hand loading. So first of the year, I've been saving all my brass since I got my
Nice.
243. So, well, I've got to dial in I'll probably text you or message you and get some
Yep.
some some info since you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, for sure. We can do that. But yeah, any other final thoughts or anything you want to share? If nothing else, just let people know where to find you and find your content.
Yeah. So well, first of all, appreciate you having me on, man. We love to talk predators with, with everybody. And as you can see, it can go long, but we'll have season 5 of West Tennessee Predator Hunting probably April will be the quarter that we get, because we're filming right now, and I hope to have it all dialed in, and we'll start releasing that April 1st or whatever the first. We usually come out on TV every Sunday night on Headline Outdoors. To find Headline Outdoors, you can go to Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, I believe, and you just search for Headline Outdoors. They're a small hunting channel that's really trying to grow. Drew, you could probably have them have your podcast on there. It's a cool interaction. They're trying to get on Tubi and a lot of the other platforms out there.
Yeah.
But they're a growing channel, and we simulcast whatever's on TV on YouTube. So what you see on YouTube right now, we're putting shorts on there. We're putting stuff, we'll do some reviews from time to time on there as well. Not really what I enjoy doing the most, but if I get a new scope I'm excited about it, or if I get, a new suppressor or whatever, I'll kind of go over what we use, because I get questions about that a lot.
Yep.
But YouTube, Facebook, West Tennessee Predator Hunting. We have a group, West Tennessee Predator Hunting. You can come be a part of it as well. The group is not quite as active. We do a lot of people just are now. It's becoming, everybody's hunting with us, so I'm trying to get them on film, and it's becoming that type of community. So, if you're seeing this in your West Tennessee, give me a shout. We'd love to film you. We'd love to make you part of the growing community. So I appreciate you letting us come on and talk about predators, Drew.
Yeah, awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on. You guys will have to check out the West Tennessee Predator Hunting channel if you haven't yet. It's one of the best out there, and I enjoy your guys' content, and I appreciate your time and getting on here with me. And we'll keep in touch, and hopefully a lot of successful hunts in the future.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want to support the Predator Podcast, check out our great partners in the description below. Follow Drew on Instagram at PredatorPodcast_Drew. Join the Predator Podcast Facebook community and keep up with real-time tips and tricks to keep putting fur in the truck. Until next time, shoot straight.